Hey guys, and welcome to Carguy1999 reviews as well as Quirk Automotive. Today we have a comparison between enthusiast budget daily drivers. We have the 2020 GTI, one of our pre-owned 2019 WRXs, and the 2020 Forte GT. All three of these are fitted in manual and they're all black on black, which is good because it gives us a look at the same color combination. My goal was to be right around $30,000. So the Forte GT stickers at $24,245. WRX brand new. This one's stickered for $26,000. And the GTI is a little bit pricier, stickering at $33,700. Now, before you say anything, I know the Jetta GLI would have been a better comparison. However, the only manual GLI we have is in the showroom, and I'm not making them move that for us today. We'll take a quick walk around of the Forte GT. Really nice looks on this one. This is Kia's entry into the hot hatch market, kind of taking on cars such as the WRX and the Jetta GLI. Really nice looks. Definitely stands out. Huge trunk space. Nice subwoofer up there with the Harman Kardon audio. Then we have the WRX. Everybody's come to know and love it. First refresh was in 2015, or the redesign was in 2015, refreshed in 2018. As stated before, this is a 2019 model. This is the base trim. Really nice. Powered by a Boxer 4-cylinder. Oh yeah, that's right, it's inside. Good amount of trunk space, especially seeing how this is the only all-wheel drive model of the bunch. And then we have the GTI. It's been around since the 1980s. The WRX and the GTI have the most heritage, and the Forte GT is the new player into the market. Kia's first, Forte into the market. Really nice. Of course, it has a hatch, so it automatically gives it a lot more room. Without further ado, let's take these on the road, check out the interiors once we're out there, and see how they do. Alright, now onto the interior and drive of the Forte GT. Where do I start? I love this car, and the interior is such a huge step up from the normal Forte. While you have the same basic dash as the Forte, this steering wheel, the parts that you're going to be touching all the time are vastly improved. Nice red stitching all throughout, nice materials, nice leather stitched dashboard. Touchscreen, really nice. Even though it's sticking up, it's not too raised. It's a pretty nice design. Really easy to use. You got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You have a wireless charger in here, as well as a USB charger in there. Really nice back seat area. Lots of room. And these seats, I think, might be the best out of them all. Nice cloth inserts with leather bolsters. They keep you in place really well without being intrusive, and that's really tough to do. This one has a sunroof, GT embroidered up on the seats, as well as here on the dashboard. Another thing I really like is the steering wheel. This steering wheel, I haven't driven the other two yet, but this might be my favorite of the bunch. Really nice metal feeling, toggles and dials, and the volume switch is has a different feel to it, so you know when you're driving that you're on the buttons, the volume control. That is ingenious, and I'm really glad they did this. You have two driving modes, normal and sport. I mean, every car I'm gonna keep in its sport mode. Nice shifter, decent throws. I kind of wish they were a little bit shorter, but it's still really good. Nice shifter. Of course, you have red stitching there. So for this comparison, I'm gonna be thinking of value, fun to drive factor, and performance as kind of the basis for each drive. And with the last car, I'll go ahead and I'll say which one I would buy with my around $30,000. Without further ado, let's take this thing out on the road. Clutch is really easy to use. No complaints there. One thing this has over the competition is exterior sound. I think this reminds me of the Fiat 500 Abarth, and just how great that car sounded. This is very similar. Kia fitted this with a sports exhaust from the factory, and that really sets it off from its competition. Like the Civic Si, that has no sound to it. I mean, it's a cool car, but it's really tough to have a turbocharged vehicle sound good, and Kia managed it. Even with the lowest horsepower number of the bunch at 201, it still feels plenty quick. Really good power, really good torque from this motor. I'm not sitting here wishing for more, which is great. Really easy to rev match. I find this is really easy to drive. It's a car that I find myself, any chance I can get to review one, I go for it. It's something, Kia has stepped up their game. I mean, with the Stinger, they showed the world what they can do. Especially Hyundai and Kia have been banging out some real hits of cars. I mean, look at the Veloster N, the Stinger, and now the Forte GT. These are cars that are taking on rivals that have 20, 30 years of history behind them. And it's impressive, you know, to have a car company that was known for its value and build quality cars to start producing hits like these. That's a lot. It takes a lot. The only other company I could ever think of that just took off from the get-go, well, mainstream, like Ferrari, Pagani, they take off, you know, people know about them, is Tesla. I mean, they were revolutionary of the time. But to go from making economy cars and something with nice cheap value to something like this and maintain value, that's extremely impressive. And it puts this Forte so far pretty good on the listing. It sets a very good benchmark for the other two cars, the WRX and the GTI. It's gonna take a lot for those two cars to beat the value of this car. Sitting pretty much fully loaded as we are right now, we're $2,000 less than the WRX base and almost $10,000 less than a mid-trim GTI. That's gonna be in the back of my mind as we move on to the next car and figure out which one I like better. Another big factor is cost of ownership. These so far have been pretty bulletproof. They are still relatively new, but Kia has its 10-year, 100,000 mile warranty. So if anything were to go wrong, 9 times out of 10 it's covered. So you can't complain. The Harman Kardon audio system in this is fantastic. And the handling, second to none. Good amount of rotation too. You can kind of feel it start to rotate a little bit. It's really impressive. And Kia produced a real hit of a car here. Has a ton of soul, no pun intended, for Kia. And I think the other two cars have to work real hard to beat what the Forte GT presents. Alright, and now we're in the 2019 WRX. Very, very nice interior, given the segment. Even in the base trim, you have a nice leather-wrapped steering wheel. Nice faux carbon fiber trim throughout. Nice red stitching. You definitely tell that you're in a performance car. This is where your heated seats would be if it was so equipped. Up on the higher trims, you can get heated seats. Alright, so I thought that might have been the original sticker. Back seat room, it is a little limited compared to the Forte GT, just because of the sloping roofline, stuff like that, but it's still very good. Visibility is definitely superb, and that's due to the basis of this being well, this generation wasn't called the Impreza WRX, but it is still based on the the Impreza platform, which at the end of the day is a city car. So the visibility had to be good, and it definitely is. There is no issue seeing out of it whatsoever. But yeah, let's go ahead and see how this drives and which one I would put my money on. I'll come up with the final results once I cut to the GTI. I still have to drive the GTI, and then I'll give you a full ranking. I'll probably create, well, I'm not sure yet, because the ranking might change depending on if it's your only car or if it's your daily driver. Performance-wise, the WRX is the best so far. Just the overall power, the all-wheel drive to claw you out of corners. Only thing that's kind of iffy to me is the fully loaded trim is like 33,000. You know, and that puts you up into where the Focus RS is. That puts you really, really close to an STI. And I just don't know if I could put that that amount of money down for the fully loaded trim to compete with these two models. That would compete really closely to the GTI, just because of interior comforts and stuff like that. That's a sweet 914. Look at that. This has the most power of the bunch. Producing 268 horsepower. It's a good amount of power from this thing. Shifter is super notchy. You know exactly what gear you're going in. It also has a really good tone to it. That's something that I definitely like. It's not loud, but it has a good tone to it. Only issue is like 1500 RPM, you do get that drone that kind of rattles your eardrums. As for how easy it is to drive, that's where it gets a little finicky. You definitely have to adjust your manual driving skills a little bit to drive this smooth. The clutch can be a little finicky. It tends to grab. It's quite sensitive, but I've driven it for like 20 minutes now. I'm pretty much used to it. I'm driving 4 manuals back to back, including my car, my Challenger. So, you know, you get used to one car, you move into the next, you move into the next, you know, you start to kind of gets a little tricky to tell if it's more driver error or if it's just actually difficult to drive. However, I find that the WRX takes me a little bit longer to get used to. As for performance and handling, this is really good. The all-wheel drive definitely claws it out of corners. See what I mean by being a little tough? I didn't mean to pop the clutch, it just engages really, really suddenly. The clutch pedal does have a good weight to it. It's not heavy, but it has a good weight to it. These seats are pretty comfortable. They're really good. They don't have as much down low bolstering, thigh bolstering as the Forte, but they hold you just as good. Really, really good handling from this thing too. It's really, really quick once you find a good mountain road, and that all-wheel drive keeps it pretty stable. The screen itself is pretty small compared to the other two. The Forte is much bigger. It is pretty easy to use, however. You get your apps, stuff like that, Pandora, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's take the GTI out, summarize our thoughts, and find out who's the champion. And now, on to the final contender, the 2020 GTI. This is by far the nicest interior. Everything is, even all this up here is all soft touch material. You can tell they've really stepped up their game. These are my favorite seats too. They have plenty of bolstering, but they're also super comfortable. Really nice sunroof. Tons of room out back. You can refigure all this as you want. Nice trim, piano black. You also have gesture control as well. Everything's really easy to use. Go into your car settings, then start, extended period, refuel. I mean, this is a car and a half. I mean, this thing's fully loaded. But let's go on to what this is all about. The drive. Super easy to drive. Once you get in it, I mean, you feel at home. This is middle of the group in terms of horsepower with 220. But what's funny is it feels the quickest. It's really good. This manual is the perfect Goldilocks of the group. It has the nice and easy to use. Ooh, TR6. It has the nice. Nice, easy to use of the Kia Forte with the notchiness of the WRX. The one thing this does that none of the other ones do is it pulls until redline. Turbocharged motors don't do that. Wow. Visibility is phenomenal. I don't have many blind spots at all. Super easy to rev match. This is like, it's like talking to your best friend after 10 years. You just feel so at home. You know, it does everything you want it to. It's almost like a Porsche in that aspect, where you turn in, it turns in. You know, it's like a driving companion. It's your loyal dog that no matter how many times you come in the front door, it's gonna bark at you, be happy to see you. I've found that a lot of German cars I've driven don't have a soul. This is very different. This has a lot of soul, and it evokes a really special feeling inside when you drive it. This is a really good car. Now, let's go on to the rankings. Which car would I put my money towards? I'm gonna do it starting from the bottom up. Nice Mark V in front of us. In third place, we have the 2019 WRX. While it is a fantastic car to drive, huge performance pedigree, I just find it's too high strung. It kind of beats you up after driving it for a while. The price is really high for what you're getting. It's a good car. It's a fantastic car. And if you're looking for something to be, you know, the most track car-ish of the group, that's the one for you. But as a daily driver, it's just not worth it to me. In second place, we have the 2020 Kia Forte GT. Fantastic car. Really, really fun to drive. Even though it's down on power from the group, it still feels plenty quick enough. And the value of that car is second to none. I mean, it's 10 grand less than this car. And it's just fantastic to drive. If there could have been a tie for second and first, that would have been it. If I had a points ranking, they'd be separated by a point. Just that 10 grand difference for that car is phenomenal to me. But last but not least, in first place, we have this GTI. The interior is huge, like levels above the competition. The power is phenomenal. The comfort features are all there. This is the one I'd love to take a road trip in. It's the one that I would have in my personal garage. It's just a phenomenal car. So on that note, I want to thank you all for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.